Hello, everyone, as we welcome you to the return of Quad Radio in this new era of quad-radio.com, or in some cases, quad-radio.com. Whichever the case may be, it's Quad Radio through and through. I'm your host, Rodney Tomlin, and today we bring to you one of our 4x4 pros and long-awaited and I think highly anticipated interview with the Michael Swift, the new era Michael Swift at that, a guy that I've known for quite a few years now in the 4x4 side of ATV racing, and we're going to get a chance to re-meet him and talk a little bit about what the 2014 AMSOIL GNCC series presented by Maxxis is all about. And of course, before we do that, a couple of things I do want to say thanks, not things, but people I want to say thanks to, including Impact Solutions, Jay Goebel, Steve Walker, and old Tread over there, Fred from Maxxis Tires, and also the Elka Suspension folks over there. Just want to salute those guys as they have supported Quad Radio since its inception. I know this is a non-monetary thing right now, and I just want to say thanks to those guys whenever I first got started for their help. Also, I want to say thanks to Big Pat McGuire over there at Tire Balls. You need those new tire ball installations, some replacement balls. You need the tools to do it yourself. That's the guy you want to talk to, and of course, you can see him at the racetrack at any given GNCC racing weekend. And speaking of a given GNCC racing weekend, we are headed into round number 5 of America's Premier Off-Road Racing Championship in the world-renowned AMSOIL GNCC Series, and our brand new 4x4 class has definitely sparked a lot of interest from a rider standpoint, but I think as much from a fan standpoint as any class that we have introduced in GNCC racing in quite some time. And our guest is one Mr. Michael Swift from the UXC Factory Polaris team, and we say good afternoon and welcome. Michael, how's things going, buddy?
Good. Thank you for having me. Everything's good here.
Yeah, I know this is something that we'd been talking about since actually before the season actually got underway, but due to certain things and trying to rebuild and revamp the website and do a few things a little more brighter and tighter, I guess you could say, we elected to hold off. But I think it was a good thing to do, man, because what we have done, we didn't go into the season with any high expectations of seeing what Michael Swift had to offer with the new ride, the whole new program and everything. And what we can do is talk about what those expectations were going into the season and where we are now after 4 rounds complete of racing. Mike, talk a little bit about that. I know it's a whole new year for you. When we first made acquaintances back in 2005, I'm sure everybody's heard the story. It was funny. You came up, you wanted to wear the helmet cam so you could show people how to beat Mike Penland, who was then one of the premier 4x4 stars, and now, you know, you're probably as premier of a rider as he was, or probably maybe even a little bit bigger, man. I mean, it seems like things have grown so much since that day in 2005, and especially leading into this season.
Yeah, no, thanks for those compliments. The world of 4x4 racing has really changed a lot in the past 9 years of my racing. And it's changed a lot for me this year, from leaving one manufacturer and starting a new program with another.
Talk a little bit about that, man. Tell me about that, because I mean that's a pretty big chunk to bite off. I mean, you've got a program that you were very comfortable with, a program that has been tried, tested, and proven, and one that you literally helped build over the course of the last 6 or 8 years, man. I mean, to make that step away there had to be a lot in the decision-making process to even consider that, to be honest with you, and then doing it, man. I mean, you had to be ready for something new and exciting.
Yeah, it was a major thought process, a major decision. But in the end, I think we made the best decision. You know, it's more than just about me and about what I'm doing or want to do in the future. It comes down to everybody that's racing the 4x4 machines. Over the past couple of years, you know, it seemed like there was only one manufacturer there, Can-Am, and to keep 4x4 racing going the way it needed to and keep it growing, there's going to have to be another manufacturer come out there and challenge them. and that just hadn't happened yet. So to get the opportunity to be a part of that challenge and help the sport grow and re-energize it the way it has and the way it's doing now, was a major part of my decision making. Taking consideration that, like you said, I was going to leave my comfort zone, and I'm leaving everything that I knew for 8 years. I learned 8 years and worked hard to learn and know that there's going to be good times and bad times. All that had to come into play when I made my decision, but I think I made the best decision, and I'm proud of the decision I made. So.
Yeah, and rightfully so. I mean, actually, whenever you made the decision, the switch, I mean, it wasn't as if you spent a lot of time off the quad. I mean, you jumped on that thing and went racing. From what I understand, you went out west, man, and started living the life, from what I understand, of a true 4x4 off-road racer. I mean, all the jet setting, I guess you could say, from one end of the country to the other, getting to race all the big races and everything.
Yeah, we did. We made the decision to partnership with Factory Polaris the first part of December, and I got the opportunity to go up there and meet with all the people there that I'd be working with, kind of get me up to speed with the engineers. And then I think it was 2 weeks later I went out west and raced round one of the Best in the Desert Series with one of our teammates and partners, Don Higby. So that was my first experience on that, which is racing out there is way different than racing GNCC here. But yeah, I didn't waste any time. I think when I got home from that race, my race machines arrived here, so we immediately went to work on them and went to riding and racing to try to learn as quick as we could to try to prevent from learning at the track. But, sometimes it's hard to do. So,
well, 4 rounds in, has there been many lessons learned, Mike Swift?
Yes, there has. And I've learned something every round so far. It's funny that, when you ride at home, I have a 6-mile course here at home that I ride on every week, and you ride local races during the winter to try to learn, gain more knowledge, and improve. You think by March that you'll have everything figured out, but it just doesn't work that way. Anybody that races like we do knows that. So yeah, I've learned something every race, and I put in my head at the beginning of this process that was going to be part of it. I was going to use this year as a learning block and do the best I could with it. I know personally my capabilities. So it's just me getting familiar and learning the Polaris machine. So yeah, it was no time wasted.
Well, obviously, I know Polaris is they're not necessarily a new player on the block in this form of racing, but they do seem to have stepped things up, not only in the 4x4 side of things, but also in the side-by side of things. It does seem like that they're here to play seriously now.
Yeah, the side-by-side thing is taken over by storm the past couple of years, and they're the leader in that. And I think that they've wanted to put together an ATV program since the Scrambler was released 2 years ago. They just couldn't find the right people and convince the right people that it was time to get back into the ATV scene of it. And, so it all worked out really good this year, and I'm glad that they're back. And, I think all the racers at the track should be glad and probably are glad that they're there, because it's really helped our starting lines. It's helped the excitement and anticipation of the race and leading up to the races. So
yeah, and it's helped the competition too, man, because it keeps them from getting so complacent with what they've got. everybody has pretty much stepped up their game because, I mean, Polaris, like I said, they came to play, and they came to seriously play, I believe. You know, they've stuck their nose in there, and they've had some good runs over the last few years, but you're right on the side-by-side of things, man. I mean, they really seem to be the masters and dominators with the Razor out there right now, especially with the national championship team of William Yoakley and his wife, who won the GNCC series and countless other races. Scott Kiger, of course, William Yoakley's nephew, John Yoakley, and you, if I'm not mistaken, aren't you taking a little tool around the course in the side-by-side things as well?
Yeah, I am. Last year we decided that it looked like a lot of fun. We were already there, so why not, see how we liked it. So last year I did. I stuck my toes out into that, and I thought it would be no big deal. But I tell you, my first race last year, it was a total eye opener. It's nothing like the ATV race in the morning. Everything about it's different, other than we're running through the woods. But
yeah, and I don't think people quite get that, Michael. I think they think a lot of them are looking at it. Oh, it's just a four-wheeler with two seats in it, and you ride side by side, man. The difference between side-by-side racing and ATV racing is like night and day, man. I mean, like you say, the only thing the same is a lot of times sections of the course and the fact that you are racing in the woods.
Yeah, it's I didn't understand it until my first couple of races last year. Your strategy's different. The aggression's a little more different. It's just totally different, other than the course. So it's a good thing. So yeah, we raced that year last year, and I just went into it with let's go out here and have fun. Don't try to take it seriously. It's just something to do for fun. And then I learned that if I would get serious and put my head down about during summer break there last year, that I could probably win. So we did. We come back and won the next round after the break, and we ended up second in the points at the end of the year in our class, which is really good.
That is real good, man. That is real good. Now, what class are you racing this year in that?
We're racing the XC2 Pro-Am class, same class as we raced last year. We're racing the Polaris 900 XP. Which is an incredible machine. I love the machine. It's just amazing. And I got to give a shout out to William Yoakley and the guys over at Holtz Racing Products and Nightcrawler Customs. They have helped me so much get up to speed with the Razor. Williams helped me out a lot, and Williams helped me out a lot on the ATV side. So that guy has a book of knowledge. So.
Well, that's great, man. I'm wondering if the guy is over there at Nightcrawler Customs can customize me a bumper for my 2000 Escalade, man. I'm getting ready to pimp that thing out. But anyway, we'll have to talk to those guys for me if you get to before I do.
But sure.
I think it would be pretty cool to see something like that happen. But Michael, I mean, the cool thing about this is it's great to see you expanding. You talked about, hey, I'm already there. We might as well go ahead and race the side-by-side. And obviously that produced not only a surprise in the fact that, it was another great form of racing, but something totally different for you to do on the same day, basically, and in some cases maybe even go someplace and do on its own. But regardless, I mean, this whole affair has turned into more than just a weekend warrior thing for you, man. I mean, this is a family affair for you. I mean, you got your son out there racing, and it's all become family oriented for you as much as it has been team and race oriented for you, it seems.
Yeah, it is. It started out 10 years ago, it was just something to go do for fun, and we didn't take it seriously. And we used to sit around outside of the tent by the campfire on Friday night before the race talking, and I remember it like it was yesterday, talking about how cool it would be to be a factory rider in a tractor trailer, and then 4 years later it happened, and it's grown so much, and I've seen so many changes. I've seen so many faces come and go, and I've made so many friends, and that's a good thing. And you hear it all the time about GNCC it's a family sport. It's a weekend getaway for the family. It's safe. if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't be able to do it, because, if your family's not happy, you just can't continue to do it. So, you get a group of friends. My wife, really enjoys being around some of the other wives that are there during the weekend, and the kids get to play together. They enjoy the racing, and my wife's riding with me, co-pilot in the Razor this year, which I never dreamed she would ever do that. But she's managed it for 2 rounds so far, and says she's enjoying it. So it has truly become a family sport, and it's not just something we do for fun. It's a job, and it's something we take seriously, and we spend a whole lot of time working on.
That's awesome, man. That's great. And what I like about it is, well, I think it's neat that your wife's riding with you, but your son and one of your rivals on the track's son actually compete against each other in their own class. Tayton's your son, right? Tayton Swift, if I'm not.
That's correct.
And then we've got little Brian Buchanan, I guess?
Yeah, that's actually Brian's nephew. That's Brian's sister's son, but his name is Brian Buchanan as well. So we could just keep saying that it's his, it makes it sound a lot cooler. But yeah, they, I think they switched him back to an Apex this year from the Raptor last year, and we moved Tayton from one of the classes over into the class he's in now, and they both ended up in the same class, and they really like that. They get to hang out and play when we're all racing, and then they get to go out there and race together. So, they really think that's cool and awesome, and it's pretty neat, me and Brian both being down there to help them, and it's a great thing. So
I can imagine, man. It definitely brings a whole different element to your race morning, because, before you were probably biting nails or whatever before the 10 o'clock race. Now you're out cheering on the boys.
Yeah, years ago I used to make fun of a lot of people like Ken Roby and Scott Kilby and Kevin Trantham, even, about how they had to get up really early on the race morning and rush to the track and get their kids' bikes ready and get them to the line and make sure they're off the track before they went to the starting line. It just seemed so hectic that they had to do that, and I kidded around with them a whole lot about that, and look at me now, here I am right in the middle of it. It is somewhat challenging, because usually we don't get to bed real early on Friday nights, and be back up at 5:30 in the morning on Saturday morning and rushing around, and it's just a constant rush until that checkered flag throws that afternoon. So.
Oh, I can imagine, man. I can imagine. What's heading into this weekend? Let's talk a little bit about that. We are heading into the Limestone GNCC this weekend. That's a off weekend for the side-by-side, right?
Yes, it's off weekend for the UTVs.
So we're strictly, you're a dad at 8 o'clock, and then you become racer about 9:30. Talk a little bit about the way the season's been going so far for you, Michael, with the Polaris and just in general, and then also what you're hoping and expecting this weekend coming into round 5.
Well, the season, getting a late start on prepping machines and learning machines for 2 months in bad weather. We kind of was running down the line on trying to get everything ready and find what works and what doesn't before Florida. But we went into Florida, and I led the first 2.5 laps, and I had a belt failure issue there, so I was going really good, and then it went really bad. But we learned what caused that problem, and it was my fault, something that I'd done, and so I corrected it. In round 2, I was running second right behind the leader on the end of the first lap, and I had a throttle return spring break, and that, again, was my fault. I'd altered the spring and shouldn't have, and so I ended up finishing the race there. You there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just saying, dude, what are you doing all these alterations for? Don't you think you can make it just a little bit better, don't you?
Well, sometimes I think I try too hard. I do catch myself way overthinking things and trying to spend too much time and work too hard to make things better. And sometimes I think if I just leave it alone and go ride it, I would be just fine. But round 3, I actually had a good run. I just had one of those days where I caught every bottleneck wrong, and I got hung behind every sport bike that decided to stall out in front of me. And, I just had one of those days. the last round, I had some issues with the front differential on the end of the first lap, which set me back into the pits. But I was able to get back out and race. But so far this year, it's been a learning. Each round has been something I've learned the hard way. But I'm taking it for what it is and making changes to prevent it in the future. So hopefully, for round 5 coming up this Saturday, I'm pretty excited. I feel a win in my hands here. We've made a lot of changes, positive changes, the past 2 weeks, and worked closely with Polaris on some parts, and I'm excited about it. Actually, I just finished making a change an hour ago, and I'm going to go ride and see how that works out, and then we'll get it washed up and in the trailer. So
there you go, man. Sounds like I
spend a lot of time working on it. I work a normal job like everybody else, and then when the kids go to bed at night, I come over here till midnight or 1 every night.
Wow. What is it you do besides race, man?
I work on. I own a small business that repairs heavy equipment. So I work on bulldozers and track hoes and stuff, all day long. It's pretty rough work, and but that's what I do. And amongst racing's a second job for me, and it's very important to us. And then amongst that, you have to juggle in baseball practice and t-ball practice and Boy Scouts and church, and then also I have a trainer that's pretty strict on me, and trying to find an hour and a half every day to train, it's really hard. So, but we manage it.
Wow, Michael, you are a true hero of mine, man. It's hard to believe that sitting around the campfire, joking around and daydreaming about being a factory rider, that you've probably far exceeded even a lot of the guys that are on the XC1 Pro row right now and have spent time there, man. I mean, you've probably done more and made more and gotten more out of it. I think it's a pretty amazing thing, man. I mean, you're a very fortunate and blessed individual, that's for sure.
Yeah, I've been blessed with a lot of things, and I'm very fortunate to been able to go down this path. And I hope that it continues on for many years. But if it don't, I'll be very grateful for what I've had, and it's ATV racing and the 4x4s has given me a lot, and it's made me work hard, made me stay healthy, and very fortunate, and but very busy too. Also this weekend we got Don Higby, our teammate of mine, is going to be Chris Robinson. There's another teammate of ours that's going to be running the round 2 of the Score Series out in Nevada this weekend. So there'll be two Team UXC races going on Saturday. And then next weekend, I'm going to be going back out west to race round 2 of Best in the Desert, so I'm really excited about that.
Wow, man. I tell you, I just don't see how you do it. You almost need a clone, man.
Yeah, I know. It keeps me busy, but, the more we can put the machine out there and get it good positive publicity for Polaris, and it's also a major learning stone for us, to race the different terrains, and so it's good, and it gets more training for me, but it is hard to keep it all juggled.
Well, man, I wish you all the luck in the world, and I really appreciate you taking this time and this opportunity to speak with us here at Quad Radio, man. It gives us a whole new insight into what is going on with you and the new program and where you are in life, man. I mean, I'm really happy for you. You sound like you really have got it there in the palm of your hands, man, and I hope that you continue to juggle it the way that you have been, because it's been pretty flawless so far and pretty smooth, and to have the great backing of a great wife and family and friends and of course sponsors is a huge key to every bit of that, man.
Yeah. You, if it weren't for our sponsors, none of us would be here doing this. I can't say how grateful I am to all of our sponsors, and most of our sponsors we've been with for many, many years, and each year we usually try to pick up 1 or 2 new ones, and some of the new ones we picked up from this year was Joe Shamira and Amsboil. They going to be doing a lot of stuff for us, and we're real proud to have them on board, and but yeah, you're right. The sponsors, you can't thank enough, and very grateful to them. Team UXC has a lot of support behind us, and I think we've earned that. I just swapping to something new and learning something new. I think it's going to take a little time, but we're going to get on that center spot on the podium pretty quick.
Well, man, I believe you will. And I really am enjoying watching the whole thing build because, honestly, the prize will be so much sweeter if you have to work for it than to be able to take it right from the beginning, I think, Michael. So I think it's all coming to you the right way, man.
Yeah.
So, well, again, thank you. Thank you again for your time today, Mike. Anything else you want to pass along to anybody before we take off?
No, I just... everybody keep an eye on us on the Team UXC's Facebook page and keep it well posted on what's going on. We got a team racing the Torn Series. Myself and Don Higby's racing the Score Series and Best in the Desert. We're racing the GNCC. Hope to be doing the Terra Cross this summer. I think there's 3 rounds of it that's going to be televised. So I hope to be doing that as well, and keep rooting and keep watching for us. We'll get that podium spot. Thanks to all of our sponsors at Team UXC. We've got a whole long list of them. I won't go to naming them all, but a big shout out to Custom Access. That was the shocks are a major role in these big ATVs, and Mike up at Access has spent a lot of time with me that he really probably didn't have to, but working one-on-one to help us get the shocks dialed in a really short amount of time with a lot of bad weather. Factory Polaris for stepping up and getting behind us, supporting us and supporting the racing. I think that has really rejuvenated the 4x4 racing, and I hope that it continues and look for good things. Driven Power Sports, Don Higby has done a lot for us. So everybody out there that's done something for us, Maxxis Tires, Rock Speed FX, Evans Racing Coolant, I want to thank them truly. So.
All righty.
And I want to thank you, for what you're doing, and, anything I can do to help you, you'll let me know.
All right, man. I appreciate it. Just keep doing what you're doing, man, making yourself famous and doing great things for your sponsors and with your family, man, because that's what makes me happy.
All right. Well, then we'll see you Friday, then.
All righty. Sounds good. That is Michael Swift. I am Rodney Tomlin. This is the all-new Quad Radio.